I just want to draw your attention to what's happening in markets which seem completely unconcerned about the COVID-19 pandemic. The last street has managed to regain its poise. We saw healthy gains coming in from benchmark indices. The Nifty has reclaimed 14,800 while the Sensex is now a kissing distance away from the 50K mark. My colleague Jayesh Khilnani is putting together all of the market's action for you.
There has been a recent rally in the markets that we have seen, despite the fact that there has been no respite in the rising coronavirus cases in India as well. However, in my conversation with various market participants, they are of the belief that the market has learned quite a bit from last year's rally, and the fact that investors are of the belief that these fresh restrictions that have been imposed by state governments, these are temporary in nature, along with the fact that there has been retail and HNI participation which has dominated India's stock market, which is largely of the fact because there has been an increased work from home force that has been working, and the fact that there has been lower savings bank interest has attracted a lot more participants to the stock market as well. So that is the reason we are seeing elevated levels for the market, discounting the future as well as the coronavirus cases that have risen in the recent past. But interestingly, if you have a look at some of the other European countries which underwent a second wave of the virus, the stock markets during that time also performed really well, especially the European indices that will come up for you on the screen. They actually rose about 6 to 7% each in the 30 days leading up to the peak of the second wave of the COVID-19 virus.
India will officially begin its third phase of vaccination, where everybody above the age of 18 will be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine from the 1st of May. Today, registrations were opened up on the CoWIN app and the portal, and as expected, there was a mass of people trying to register their names for vaccinations in the bracket of those above 18. The question though is, will they actually get the vaccines from the 1st of May? Now, in most cases, states are reporting that they may not be in a position to start vaccination from the 1st of May because the vaccines are simply not available. We're trying to get a sense of what different states are doing, and today I'm speaking with Mr. Thomas Isaac, the Finance Minister of the state of Kerala, to get his perspective. Mr. Isaac, thank you so much for speaking with us. These are very difficult and challenging times, especially because I'm speaking with you just a couple of days before the results are due for elections in 4 states, 1 union territory, including yours. So you're literally going to be working till the last day, ensuring that vaccine supplies are in place.
Yeah. Today the cabinet took the decision to place the order for 1 crore vaccine, 30 lakh Covaxin and 70 lakh Covishield. But what became very clear is that Covaxin, for example, they were promising to supply from the month of June, and that too rationing it every day some 3 lakh or something. And Covishield also, there is no certainty when the supplies would be available. I think this is the biggest problem. Money, perhaps, we can mobilize some way. Of course, the vaccine is not just available. What do? Say, if you want to vaccinate everybody in India over the age of 18, you need to produce at least 68 lakh vaccine per day, the vials of doses of vaccine per day, including that we have mandatorily to export. But the production is just half of that, 30 lakh. So it means that the vaccination would go well into 22 to be completed unless we rapidly increase the production of vaccine in India, which I think is possible. One, we could import bulk concentrate of vaccine, Sputnik or whatever, and then have it use our existing injection production facilities. Say, for example, even Kerala state PSU, medical PSU, which has just recently inaugurated non-beta-lactam injection plant, and we could convert it into producing the vials. It will require perhaps just 3 months' work, and therefore the paramount importance is to increase the production of vaccine.
No, so Mr. Isaac, just, you are, today I'm speaking to you also as one of the buyers of vaccine in phase 3, which allows state governments as well as private players, companies, hospitals, etc. to go out and acquire up to 50% of what the manufacturing capacity is. So walk me through what your experience has been. A, are there price negotiations? B, do you find yourself competing with other states and the private sector to get those vaccines, and are you facing a problem there?
Definitely. We are just not getting the answers from Serum Institute as commitment when vaccine can be supplied. So, nevertheless, we are going to place the order. But when we are going to receive the supply, we don't know. Nobody knows for sure. That creates a tremendous problem on the ground level, because unlike many people say, people are willing to be vaccinated. And everybody wants to get vaccinated. At least in Kerala, that's the situation. And now, because we don't have supply, say we are not able to open our sites. So there are a lot of problems with that. I think there will be a lot of tension. And suppose we are going to open up the private sector also, then people, though there were even people who do not have the money, will be forced to shell out and get the vaccinated. So it's going to be a problem. For example, today we discussed and just realized there is no guarantee when we are going to get the vaccine.
Adar Poonawala has tweeted, as a philanthropic gesture on behalf of Serum Institute of India, I hereby reduce the price to the states from 400 to 300 per dose, effective immediately. This will save thousands of crores of state funds going forward. This will enable more vaccination and save countless lives. My question to you, Mr. Isaac, is how soon do you think the state of Kerala will be able to start its vaccination program for all of those above 18?
Now, just a comment on what you tweeted. I was just challenging that. He has no right to fix at 300 or 400 or 200. There is a condition put by the Oxford Institute, the patent owner, that the vaccine has to be made available as the cost plus price to the third world. So that's it. So this issue, even if you reduce it to 300, will continue to be challenged legally. Now, what are our expectations? When do we expect to start the vaccination program in the state for age between 18 to 45? It all depends when Serum Institute is willing to provide us the vaccine. We are willing to buy. We are under protest. We will agitate in the court, in the political forums. That BJP government has thrown aside the tradition of independent India, where all vaccinations were free and universal. That system is being thrown. That tradition is upset. Well, we'll continue to agitate on all these issues. But more important is that we vaccinate our people and get out of this COVID and free our economy. Cost doesn't matter. The cost of loss of, say, national income from COVID lockdowns and so on is far higher than the vaccination cost. Therefore, we have decided we will pay the money and get it, but we don't get it. I don't think they are able to tell us even today when we are going to get it.
So you said that at this pace, vaccination will go on all the way to 2022. I want to ask you, sir, what other options have you looked at? Because now, as per the government rules, states can also procure vaccinations from international players, international makers, those who have got authorization from FDA, EMA, etc. Have you approached any of these companies, and how has that process been?
No, we haven't done that because I don't think we have the government of India sanction to do that. But the course for the country would be one, decide to import vaccine. And suppose somebody refuses to give us the vaccine, then Indian law still contains a clause for compulsory licensing. Definitely nobody can blame India if it under COVID conditions resorts to that. And then use this opportunity to expand our production facility. As I told you, within 3 months, it should be possible to produce vials from concentrate. Maybe another 2 months, 3 months, we should be able to create additional vaccine production facility in the public sector unit. Already I know Karnataka Biotech is thinking of producing vaccine. We have prepared a program for our public sector unit to produce vaccine. So since we are going to live with this vaccine problem for the rest of the year, perhaps well into the next year, I think it is very, very important we expand our production capacity.
Yeah. All right. Just last word from you, Mr. Isaac, because again, like I mentioned, we're speaking just days before the election results. We'll have to wait and see what the people have decided on 2nd of May. But as a politician as well, I want to get your take on having election rallies as the cases were beginning to rise. Many believe that the large gatherings which took place for elections across party lines, across states, could have turned into super spreader events, and all of the guidelines which were put into place were really flouted and not listened to at all. Do you think that this is an unfortunate situation and we will be facing the brunt of this for the next several months?
Now, I'll be very frank with you. All gatherings, whether election or non-election, would break the COVID protocol, result in spread. And therefore, the last 1 month of election campaign in Kerala definitely would have contributed to the present situation. But I have been discussing with people, with knowledgeable people, they are saying the primary reason is the genetic variation, that is mutation that has occurred. The new variant is a super spreader. And therefore, that is the reason, even for states where elections were not held, now you find the spread of COVID very rapid. Maharashtra, for example, and other states. Having said that, still, I think on hindsight, it would look like that though at the time election was declared, Kerala per day cases had come to 1,000. We should have been cautious. We should have been realized that the second wave is in the making. Therefore, that should be accepted, admitted. But don't put the blame all on election. There are other issues also.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens after the 2nd of May. The new government of Kerala will have quite a task in its hand. Imagine taking over in the midst of a pandemic and this vaccine crisis. We'll have to wait and see if, it's the UDF or the LDF. But in the meanwhile, thank you for speaking with us and giving us a perspective of how individual states are trying to grapple with procuring enough vaccines. And state after state, the story remains the same, that we simply do not have a clear date from the vaccine manufacturers of when our stocks will come. Many of them saying we're willing to pay. That's That's fine. They may have an issue with the price, but they're willing to pay. But where is the guarantee that we will get doses and by what time? So how really will you start a whole phase 3 of vaccination from the 1st of May for people above the age of 18 remains a big question mark at this point. Thank you so much, Mr. Isaac, for speaking with us. Thank you, sir, and best of luck.
Yeah. Bye.